What's up, brothers and sisters? So, I've been saying this for some time. I feel like this was always the mission, even since the beginning. Um, and it had to do with children. Remember the children. I put two because I had made a part one, but I've been saying this pretty much since the beginning. Something about children, and that children were the target of a lot of things, which we can see now. Over time, it became more clearer and clearer that children were definitely a target of a greater, more sinister narrative. And I feel that that is still true, but only time will tell what that is. I have a pretty good idea, but I'm not going to share that idea because it's dark and sinister. And if I'm wrong, then I would just sound crazy. But a lot of the things I say are crazy and sound wrong. So I'm not trying to convince anybody of anything. I'm just tired of explaining myself and having to go over this stuff. Again, I made this channel to document my travels and the things that were happening. A lot of the things that I claimed ended up becoming true. Now, I'm not saying I'm right all the time because sometimes I am wrong. Life is a learning experience itself. So, you know, when you don't know everything, things can be wrong, right? So, with that being said, it says, remember the children. And I've been talking about this for some time. And so, this is one of the videos that I made, and it says, remember the children. So, with that being said, let us go to. So, I've been watching this lady for some time, and she's pretty accurate. A lot of the stuff that she says and that I've seen, especially lately, she's been on par. She's been hitting it on the nail. You know what I mean? And she put this video out today, which is May 26th. And it says Dream AI and the children. And there you have it. Children are being brought up again to my attention. And then there was a time where I mentioned, remember when the pandemic had happened, and in the beginning, when it came to the immigrants, there were absolutely atrocious things happening at the border, tossing children over border wall. So, because I had talked about this the other day too, and I was like, do you remember when this stuff happened? Yeah. That's a smuggler throwing like 2-year-old, 4-year-old little girls over the wall. Right? So I brought to the attention because it seems like everybody forgot about this. Because now we have a new problem and things come at you so fast and there's so many problems that people tend to forget about a lot of the things that are happening. Like everybody forgot about this. Right? So then this dude burnt off and left these little girls. But what I'm addressing here is, why would you do that? Why would you do that? As a mother and father, why would you pay someone to do that? That would be one and the same as a sinking ship. Let's say the Titanic, and all of us are on the Titanic, and we were like, who should we put on the boat? And we were like, just the children, right? So as a mother and father, you're doing this out of desperation and like as a last resort because you're absolutely terrified of what is going to happen on your circumstance. But you don't want that for your children, so why not just go all in and put them in a boat? Now I'm talking like little bitty children, okay? 10 years old and under, okay? Putting them on a boat and hoping for the best, because these are young children. So in your mind, putting absolutely young children who have no idea how to protect themselves, what to do, where to go, how to do it, you're really taking a risk by, let's say, putting them on this boat and sailing them in the middle of the sea, in the middle of nowhere. What that is desperation and fear. You're hoping for the best because you know in your mind that a ship may never come by and find these kids. What if they fall off? What if they capsize? What if, anything could happen? What if sharks come? What if, so, but you'd rather take a chance in that than having them die with you on the boat, right? So, in order to do this, you have to be like absolutely scared of something, right? Like something, because it's not that you're going to toss your children over and be like, well, maybe I'll get them later, or some fortunate family will find them. That's just not normal. It's not normal. Does that make sense? Like it's not. That's like why wouldn't you just like wait until you could pass with them, or I mean, do you get what I'm trying to say? Like the act of this itself is like, you really got to ask yourself, like, what is the purpose of this? Okay. What about Lost Boy? Lost Boy found Mexico. Or, I mean, this was going on for some time. This isn't something that, right here, this isn't something that, like, you know what I mean? Like, this was different. This was absolutely. So, something was going on, is what I'm trying to say. And, luckily, a Border Patrol agent found this little boy.
Is descending on the boy found lost and alone and terrified, crying with the child.
So he's in the middle of freaking nowhere. I'm talking like miles and miles of desert. Nothing to drink, nothing to eat, lost, right? Like, if anything, like you're just hoping for the best. And luckily, this child was found. I mean, it's middle of nowhere. I mean, look at him. I mean, look at the road right there on the left side of that picture. It's like the freaking middle of nowhere, dude. Look at these children right here. All these kids were like 5 years old, and the oldest one was 7, and then there was a baby, a two-year old, and they were lost. You can tell that they just like sat down and hoped for the best. Luckily, they were found because they're on somebody's property, which luckily they happened to be driving around checking their property, and they found these children, malnourished, thirsty, alone, scared. They're all crying, right? Like you're bound for death. These are some of the stories that had good outcomes. I can't say that for everyone. But what I'm trying to point out here is
Night says this seems clandestine. NY mayor rips into Biden after dozens of migrant kids secretly flown to a small town. This is a big.
So she is the first one that I've seen or heard of who is now questioning this, like I have been. What happened to these kids? Where did they go? What happened to them? Why was this happening? She just said a bunch of kids, just kids, not adults, not teenagers, not.
Big deal. This was only last year. And this is happening every day, by the way. An upstate New York mayor ripped into Biden and his team after dozens of migrant kids were secretly flown to a small town by the feds last week. Oh, interesting. Okay. Interesting.
So ultimately, what happened to these kids? She goes on to say, like, yeah, they disappeared. Like, where did they go? What happened? How come they don't have any success stories? Like, oh, they were adopted by this lovely family, right? And they have a new life, right? Or something like that, right? Like, I mean, anything. Nothing, though. Okay? Look at the number. Comments 48333. So, do you get what I'm pointing out here? I hope so, because it's hard for me to explain, but the creator had given me this mission in the beginning. Okay? And this is a big part of the reason why I feel like you watching my videos is not by chance. You hearing this is not by chance. You being here is not by chance. You don't have to accept it. You can say no, or you can go somewhere else. That's called free will. But I can guarantee you that nothing is by chance. From there is up to you whether you want to soak in the information and take on the mission and listen and see with your eyes and hear with your ears. I don't know where it leads, and I don't know where it goes, and I don't know what it's for, but I do know it's for a purpose. Nothing is by chance. But the main goal with the mission is something about the children.